This conference will now be recorded.
User, and who creates the project and maintain the project and owning the project. These kind of activities managed by this, done by the project manager, and he can able to access to the to see the all kind of information in single page, in single area. So this is the dashboards. For example, you can I can take in one example. Flipkart app, we can see the app, and we can all the information we can see the in single page, like groceries and discounts and dresses and short and filter, these kind of things we can able to see the in single page. Okay, now project administrator. Project administrator, in this particular role assigned to the user, we can access to the all projects, and he can able to see the all information to the in any kind of projects, all kind of projects. Okay, next, project creator. Project create the is who's creating the project. Project creator in any business requirement, based on the business requirement, creating the project and dividing the tasks and creating the task, these kind of things managed by this project creator. Next, project team member. Project team member, in this particular role assigned to the, and he can able kind of user and able to see the in particular project, view the particular project details. For example, I am a project manager and I assign the work on my team members. My team members, those are all kind, those are will see the all kind of project information, project details. So this is the maintained by the project team member. And application implementation administrator, in this role, as if you assign this in any user, he can able to access to the all kind of applications and implementing all kind of applications, like financial and supply chain management, these kind of modules and configurations, access to the this particular role. And next, project application administrator, in this particular role, we can able to access to the only project, only one project. For example, if you can any get the project, you can able to see only project details and configurations, only one project. Okay, he can maintain by this role. And project billing specialist. Project billing specialist, in this role, access to the any and assign to the any user, and he can able to the creating and generating the invoices and revenues, and uh, releasing the invoices, and approve the invoices, these kind of activities done by this particular role. Next, enterprise contract administrator, in this kind of role, using and assign this any user in agreement and creating the agreements and meetings, and these kind of activities done by this enterprise contract administrator. And IT security manager, in this kind of role, we can access to the any user, assign to the any user, and creating the roles and adding the roles, and adding the some role information, these kind of activities done by the security manager. And in IT security manager, in ERP level, ERP module, system administrator. Okay, next, integration specialist, in this particular role assigned to the any user, and creating and import the bulk data and done these activities done by this role. So this is integration specialist. Okay, okay, Anna.
Okay, Mani. Good.
Anna,
Mm,
I have some doubt. I have one
mhm.
doubt. Integration, bulk data means which kind of data importing?
What are the conversions you can do in projects in the business suite?
Okay.
No, I'm asking
Anna?
you. What are the conversions, project-related conversions you can do in a business suite?
Project conversions.
There is MSP integration also.
ఏంటనా?
We require the project integration specialist role for MSP integration also.
No. Any kind of, yes, Anna.
Any third party
Any
integration
kind of.
in the data.
Hmm.
It can be FBDA, it can be anything. Hello?
Yes, Anna. You're
Correct
correct.
కదా?
Correct, Anna.
సరే ఇంకా నాకు వర్క్ ఉంది దేవేంద్ర క్యారీ అవ్వాలి. నేను ఎందుకు ఊరికి ప్రజెంటేషన్ ఎలా చెప్తున్నారో విందామని వచ్చాను నేను.
ఓకే అన్న.
ఒకటి వింటా తర్వాత నేను డిస్కనెక్ట్ అవుతున్నాను. ఓకేనా?
ఓకే అన్న. ఓకే. So Mani, like there are few corrections actually. I mean, your flow is good, speed is good, but because of that speed, your sentence formation is, it's missing, most of the times,
Okay.
right? And also, these are all not type of the, types of roles. Again, there are, separate types of roles which we will discuss when we are going to customize the roles. So these are all the different project roles which Oracle has given to us. These are all not types of roles. Okay, and overall it's good, but try to maintain your sentence formation in the next session. But you covered everything, which is good. Okay, who is next?
It's me, Naresh.
నరేష్, నీ సిస్టంలో ఎక్కువ వస్తుంది.
Hello, Anna. Is it good?
నరేష్.
Yeah. So my topic is to discuss on integrations of project with other subjective modules. So we can categorize the transactions into two types when it comes to integration: the transactions which comes into the projects and the transactions which goes from projects to other subjective modules. So coming to the first category, the transactions that comes into the projects, we have supplier invoices, the Oracle time and labor, the inventory miscellaneous transactions, and Anna, hello, am I audible?
Yes, Naresh.
Yeah. So the transactions which comes into the Oracle projects, I'm discussing about the category one. So we have we receive supplier invoices from payables. We can receive time and labor transaction related to time cards, the time and labor transactions from OTL into the projects, and we also receive inventory miscellaneous transactions into the projects. And coming to the transactions which goes from projects, we can say we can transfer assets from projects to fixed assets, and we transfer receivable invoices to AR receivables, and we transfer accounting related information to the GL. So yeah, we can integrate purchase orders. Yeah, we can integrate purchase orders from PO requisition purchase orders from purchasing to projects. As you can see in the screen, I have categorized them into two types. They are one that comes into the projects and two that goes from projects. So particularly now I want to discuss about the integration of projects with inventory. So before before integrating inventory to the projects, we have certain prerequisite setups to do in inventory. Only then the integration is possible. So they are, the first one is we have to enable the project cost collect checkbox for the organization and inventory organization parameters. The use of this checkbox is only after enabling this checkbox, the cost related to the projects will be collected. Unless or otherwise you won't enable this checkbox, the cost related to that particular projects will not be collected. So, and the second step is we have to launch the manager, the cost collection manager. So, the use of this manager is whatever the cost which we collect for the particular project in inventory, this manager will transfer it to the interface tables. So, if you won't launch this manager, the cost will not be transferred into the interface table. So these two are the prerequisites which we need to do in inventory before collecting costs related to the project. So coming to the process, first we have to enter the inventory miscellaneous transaction in the inventory. Then we have to transfer the cost to the projects. Then the cost will be transferred to the interface tables. After that, we have to run transaction import program from projects. Then only the cost related to the project will be imported from the interface table to the base table in projects. So after that, we can review the transactions in expenditure inquiry. So this is how we do integration of inventory with projects.
And also we have to maintain one expenditure type in projects.
Projects, yeah,
Expenditure
yeah.
type
We have
as
to maintain
inventory,
expenditure type. The expenditure type class as inventory miscellaneous. Expenditure type as
right? Okay, good. So guys, so this is what I told you. When you are giving any presentation, use some slides or any document, however you feel comfortable, right? So that others also can easily follow you what you are saying and what you're talking about, right? So that's a good way. So whatever the presentation you are going to give, prepare some kind of slides. Okay, good, Naresh. Okay,
Yeah.
this is questions time. Um, what are the available tabs under project unit options? Who's going to answer?
General properties,
Mm-hmm.
related business units, and reporting setup.
Okay. What are the options under reporting tab?
The
No, not you.
commitment types are
Not
nothing
you.
but
Not you, Manohar.
okay.
Commitment type
Mm-hmm.
includes in status. There will be three.
Okay, like what are the commitment types, Ganesh?
Purchase order, like purchase order, supply
Mm-hmm.
invoices,
Mm-hmm.
and requisitions.
Okay.
Then there is another one is other commitments, also called as. We
Mm-hmm.
can take it as external commitment.
Okay, good. How are we going to define organizations in Fusion? Anybody?
Sir, can I?
This is Mahesh.
Yes, Mahesh.
In Fusion, we can't create an organization. First, we can create a department.
Mm-hmm.
In department, we create a department description, department details, and after that, we manage organization tree and a tree ocean.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Can you explain in detail? No?
that's it.
Okay.
You create, no, I'm asking you. You created departments and included in the organization tree.
No.
That is good. Next, you have explained only 50%.
In manage department, we create any department. In department details, we give the
That's already
GL.
covered. Department creation is done.
Okay, Anna.
Okay, what's next?
Okay, we change the statuses, Anna.
Okay, you created organization tree and version and you set it as active. What's next?
Next, project organization. We can go to the project organization. We can classify the organizations, Anna.
That is what you have to tell, right?
Okay, Anna.
You have to classify them as project expenditure organizations and project owning organizations. Okay. What are the tasks that we have seen under project foundation function area so far?
Anna, currency, expenditure type.
Who is
Hello,
this? No,
Mahesh.
whoever.
Mahesh.
No, not you. Rest. Who doesn't answer till now? Banu?
Anna, I can say
Yes, Ravi.
Anil. Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Manage project foundation message and project foundation attachment categories and accounting
Did we
calendar.
talk about all these tasks yesterday? No, right?
No, no, no.
Project.
See, I'm asking you, what are the tasks that we have discussed from Project
Hello,
Foundation? Yes, Rakesh.
Anna, I'm Ravi Anna.
Yes, Ravi.
Under the project foundation, we have manage project foundation value sets and descriptive flex fields
Mm-hmm.
and manage accounting periods
Mm-hmm.
and accounting calendars
Good.
and expenditure types
Okay.
and expenditure type classes
That's
and
that comes under expenditure type.
under the
That's
expenditure type, Anna.
yeah.
And
Okay.
revenue categories
Mm-hmm.
and UIM means unit of measurements, Anna.
Okay. Good.
And that's
Okay.
okay.
Good, Ravi. Let me share my screen. Um, oh, already I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go to the project financial management and project foundation. Yesterday we have seen till manage rate schedules, right? Let me show all the tasks. I think we have to see labor cost multipliers. Okay. So yesterday we have seen what are rate schedules. I think most of the options are very similar, just like in e-business suite, right, guys? How many types of schedules are available? Sahiti,
Yes, sir.
how many schedule types are available?
Sorry, sir. I don't remember. I think 4.
Okay, what are they?
4.
Okay, anybody else like Shrikala? Shrikala, are you there? Shrikala, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. No.
Yes, Shrikala. What are the available schedule types?
Mari.
Don't know.
What, guys? I mean, usually
Anna,
Sahiti and Shrikala, they're very active and up to date. Since couple of sessions, I'm not getting answers from them. No, Mahesh, not you.
Sir,
I have to cover
sir, can
everyone,
I?
right? No, Manohar. Sridhar. Sridhar?
Uh, yeah, no, hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, there are four types of schedules. Like we have employee, non-labor, uh, resource work plan. That is one other one. Hello.
Not resource work plan.
Sorry.
Not even. Okay. Arjun, you tell me.
Sorry, sir, I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know, sir. I did not revise yesterday's class, actually.
Guys, you no need to revise in order to answer this. I'm not asking a big topic. What you have seen or what you have learned in e-business suite, that is what I'm asking. It's not related to fusion. It's common
Yes.
thing. Without knowing schedule types, how did you work till now? How did you create all the rate schedules? How did you calculate the cost? It's really surprising to me. Yes, Mahesh, you tell. Mahesh?
employee, job,
Mm-hmm.
non-labor,
Mm-hmm.
resource class. Anna.
Good. And we don't call that as employee, we call that as a person, but which is good, right? So these are all the four schedule types what we have seen yesterday, right? Now, when it comes to the labor, right? Like when it is when we are having labor transactions into the project costing. So sometimes at the OTL side, along with the normal hours, they will also put some uh, additional hours like overtime hours, right? Or we can also say them like premium hours. Whatever the hours beyond the normal hours, we usually call them as premium hours, right? Or overtime hours. So for 8 hours, for example, I'm working in an organization and my cost rate, right, for 8 hours till 8 hours is maybe $30 per hour, right? But when I work beyond 8 hours, like maybe ninth hour and 10th hour, right? So these 2 hours, my cost rate is $40, right? That's how even your organizations also like, I mean, pays you like MNCs. If you do any, overtime, not most of the IT companies they won't pay, these overtime allowances. But if you, for example, if you work during holidays, right? There are so many MNCs there who like who are paying more than your normal rate, right? So they're all your additional rates that are used to calculate your any premium working hours. So in the same case, when we go to the labor cost multipliers, right? So if you want to capture your overtime hours with a different rate, right? So in that case, we have to maintain a multiplier, right? So let me open. Okay. So in general, I used to submit a time card under OTL for 8 hours. My cost rate is $30, which is good. So these $30. It's like a normal rate what you specify under your rate schedules, right? That we know. But I have additional hours on the same day, like maybe 2 hours. And for these 2 hours, my rate is not $30. And instead of rate, again, we use a multiplier, right? So maybe 0.25 is my multiplier. Okay, and how you are going to use this multiplier in calculating the cost, right? So it's like your quantity, which is nothing but your hours, multiply by your normal rate, multiply by multiplier, or you can also say cost multiply by multiplier, whatever it is, like this or this. Because anyhow by using quantity and rate, you're going to get the cost, right? So both are same actually. So this is how you're going to calculate your premium cost on the overtime hours, right? So based upon your requirement, we are going to create multiple multipliers here. For example, for overtime I have 1.5, and I can create one more multiplier like it's a premium code or premium. So for this, I want to maintain 2.5. Just like this. Okay. So in the same case, in the same way, I can maintain n number of multipliers under labor cost multipliers. And we are going to use these multipliers in another task so that it will take these multipliers and calculate the premium cost automatically or the overtime cost automatically, right? So I'm just saving and close. Next we'll go to the labor cost rules or labor costing rules, right? So this is also applies to the labor transactions. Remember guys, these are not applicable for non-labor transactions. These are applicable only for your labor transactions. That's why they mentioned manage labor costing rules, manage labor costing multipliers, right? But manage rate schedules, this is common. We can define labor, non-labor, right? All the rate schedules under manage rate schedules. So let's jump into the manage labor costing rules. So this tells how the employee is going to get paid, right? So the labor costing rules explains how an employee is going to get paid by the company, right? So basically we are having two costing methods. One is rate and the other one is extension. As you can see here, let me save this. Okay. So we are having two costing methods. rates and extension. And remember, in SAS environment, we are not going to use this extension. We are going to use this in PaaS environment, right? So when it comes to the SAS, we have to use only rates, not the extension. Remember, extension again, this will be used under PaaS environment if in order to have any custom logic. And even like we'll see in next 2 minutes what we are going to do with the extension costing method. Okay, so this is just a name and we have selected the costing method as rate. And when we come down here, we are having overtime labor cost multipliers, right? So already we have created labor cost multipliers, and now we are going to assign those multipliers under labor costing rules with against an expenditure type, right? So when we go back to our example, these 8 hours on the expenditure type as maybe offshore ERP. This is my expenditure type, okay, on all these transactions or on this particular transaction, right? And again, coming to the overtime transaction, my expenditure type is overtime, right? On this transaction, my expenditure type is offshore ERP, and on the overtime transaction, I'm using a different expenditure type instead of using the same which I used for capturing my normal hours, right? So if you use same expenditure type even for overtime transaction, then you cannot differentiate what are your overtime hours and what are your normal hours, right? So in order to differentiate the overtime hours from your normal hours, we are going to use a separate expenditure type. And remember guys, this expenditure type should get classified with the type class as overtime, and this is your straight time, right guys? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the first one is classified as straight time and the second one is classified as out time, right? And now when we come back to the application, it is asking here to specify the expenditure type, right? So you'll be having multiple expenditure types which are classified as overtime, right? So as I said in the labor cost multipliers, I'm having different multipliers. The other one is like premium, right? So even I'm having one more expenditure type which is classified again as overtime, right? And with this I entered 1 hour. Okay, so on overtime expenditure type I entered 2 hours. On normal expenditure type I entered 8 hours. On premium expenditure type I entered 1 hour. Both overtime and premium both are classified as overtime expenditure class, right? Now I want to maintain different multiplier for the transactions which are associated with premium expenditure type, right? So if you see here for overtime, my multiplier is 1.25, but for premium, it is 2.25, right? So this is my requirement. Again, the formula is same. There is no change in the formula, right? So now we are going to accommodate this requirement in the application, right? So if you come here to the manage labor costing rules, we will specify the first expenditure type, which is overtime, and we'll select the multiplier, which is overtime multiplier. And I'll add one more record here, a row, and then I'll select the another expenditure type, which is premium, and against to that I'll select my labor cost multiplier as premium, right? Then based upon the expenditure type that is available within the transaction, application is going to pick up the particular the respective multiplier, whether it's 2.25 or 1.25. So what is the base here to select the multiplier while calculating the cost? I mean the premium cost or the overtime cost. What is the base?
Expenditure type.
Expenditure type Anna.
So expenditure types plays a prominent role here, right? So expenditure type is very important, and the reason why I'm not able to see any expenditure types here, maybe I don't have any expenditure types that are classified as overtime. Let's see, where is that expenditure types? Overtime. And remember, for the expenditure types which you are going to use in OTL to capture the labor cost, use unit of measure as hours, right? Then even you can enable rate required. Coming to the expenditure type classes, I'm going to specify that as overtime. This is okay. I'm going to assign the set as common set. Save and close. Let's come back to our manage labor costing rules. And again we'll try to assign the expenditure type, right? Now I can able to see the expenditure type here, so I can select overtime. So in the same way I can add one more expenditure type and a multiplier against to that expenditure type, right? So are you clear with this section, guys?
Yes, sir. No.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. We'll move to the next section which is default overtime
Sir, I have doubt,
transaction.
sir.
Yes, Arjun.
Sir, to include premium in this expenditure, do we need to create one more expenditure type, sir?
Obviously, I just created one expenditure type as an example.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So we'll move to the next section, which is overtime
No, Sridhar
transaction.
here. Hello, I have a doubt.
Yes, sir. Yes, Sridhar.
So, yeah, I can see here you do expected type as overtime, and the labor cost multiplier also overtime. If I add another line, can I take same expenditure type as overtime for premium?
Yeah, because this labor cost multiplier is not depending upon the expenditure types. It's an independent object, right? You can assign this multiplier to any expenditure types here.
So I can it means that I can add expenditure type multiple times as overtime.
I mean,
Different cost multiplier.
this, are you talking about expenditure type?
Yeah. So now you give overtime, right? So if I add a new line, and can I give again overtime for the premium? If I want to select a premium, it's also an
Okay.
overtime, right? So how can I give now premium for that overtime?
You can select from here.
here, what about the expenditure type? So like overtime is expenditure type.
See, wait.
So now I want
What?
to calculate both premium and overtime.
Sorry.
Overtime is our expenditure type, na? So now I want to calculate both premium and overtime labor cost multipliers for that same overtime expenditure type.
Okay.
So here, yeah, that's my question. Here, can I add expense type as again overtime?
So you're asking me to select the same
Yeah, same
overtime.
overtime and labor cost multiplier as premium.
No, it won't allow you. So we'll go in a normal way, like when you are having two labor cost or else two multiplied against an expenditure type, that means you're going to use the two multipliers in order to calculate the cost, right? Instead of that, you can maintain, I mean, in general, we'll keep the application aside. So you can maintain your, I mean, your multiplier with the combination of both premium and overtime, right? And you can come up with a value which is 1.25 plus 2.25, whatever the value which is 4. Then you can assign that multiplier to that expenditure type, right?
Okay, right.
But we cannot differentiate it in the reports, no, sir.
Yeah.
If we come with the combined value of the multipliers, we cannot differentiate it is a normal overtime or a premium overtime to later. Are you getting the doubt, sir?
The last, who is talking? I mean, the last
Arjun,
one.
sir.
Okay.
Arjun.
Mm-hmm.
If we come up with a combined value of labor cost multiplier, we cannot differentiate in the reports afterwards what is the overtime paid and normal and what is the premium overtime we have paid to the labor.
See, you cannot club or you cannot use the expenditure type for two labor cost multipliers. And even when you open any transaction, can you able to see the two multipliers details there or three multipliers details? Can it accommodate that? Did you ever see the transaction details? Right. So whatever the, if you want to come up with super premium code with a combination of 1.25 plus 2.25, make it as a super multiplier code. I mean, the give that name as like that for that labor cost multiplier, so that you can easily identify, right? Okay, this is my super premium code, right?
Yes, sir.
So everything works here like based upon most of the things with naming conventions. So that's why our naming conventions are very important. Okay. Okay, Shridhar. Shridhar, are you there?
Sridhar and headphone source problem.
Okay, fine. So let's move to the overtime transaction attributes. We are having business unit, project name, name, task number. So what is the use of these uh, transaction attributes, right? So again, if you want to capture your overtime transactions into a different, or a specific project and task, right? So in that case, you can specify your project number and task number, and whatever the transaction that are, I mean, that will come under your overtime or premium transactions. So they'll get captured under this project number and task number. And even like till now, I didn't use this, but any one of you can try this and tell me how it is going to work. And we are also having a provision to add multiple records, right? So in that case, how the application is going to pick the respective project number and task number, right? That's the question. So when you are maintaining multiple records here, then we are going to use extension method, and with the help of PL SQL code, we are going to derive the logic, like which project number and task number should get selected or should get picked up. And this will happen only in PaaS environment, not in SaaS environment. Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
that is
sir.
about core time transaction attributes. And then let's go to the labor costing overrides. Let's click on the new record. Okay. So you want to maintain, guys, I'm getting echo. Banu, go on mute. Who else? Okay, good. So if you want to maintain a separate rate, right, for a particular person, so in that case, you are going to maintain your labor costing overrides, where you are overriding your normal rate with your the rate whatever you are specifying against this person. For example, like let me take one person first. Okay, business unit. This and my job is this. This is my labor costing role. Okay, now let's take one person. Okay, so this guy is very important person who used to work in different business units. Sometimes he will work in Bangalore business unit, sometimes he will work in Hyderabad business unit, sometimes he'll go to different maybe some other business units, right? So based upon the business unit he is going to get assigned, so I want to maintain my rates as per the business unit, and I just want to, I mean, these are all the again uh, temporary rates, and my original rates will be under managed rate schedules, and these are all his temporary assignments. So in order to calculate the cost for those temporary assignments, instead of using normal rates, I want to use different rates, right? Because I belongs to Hyderabad business unit. When I work only in Hyderabad business unit, my rate is $10 maybe or $5. But if I used to travel to any other business unit, then obviously company has to pay more, right? So there I'll get either $10 or $15. Even this is how like what happened even in MNCs also. Like if you take any like Infosys, you are based out of Hyderabad, but you have to travel to Pune and work for 3 months, right? So in that case, they are going to give or they are going to pay additional amount, right? So how are they going to pay additional or else extra cost, extra money to you using the separate rates, right? And again, those the work in Pune, it's like a temporary assignment. it may last for 3 months. Okay, so in that case, I'll come to the labor costing overrides and I'll specify the business unit person, and accordingly I can specify my rate. Okay, and also I can give my duration as well here. So he's going to work in maybe some Mumbai operating business unit from January to maybe 28th February, right? So this is a 2 months assignment for that person. So for those 2 months, his rate is $15. Okay, and again, if he travel to another business unit, maybe Bangalore business unit, or else if he works for other business unit, then his rate will be $10, and even I can specify his rate. I mean the from date and to date, like duration, right? So this is the way to specify the overrides for the labor or the employees or the persons, right? So either you can specify your rate directly, or instead you can also specify your schedule as well. So you can specify the rate schedule here as your override type, and instead of specifying the rate, you have to pick the rate schedule. So maybe I'll just pick this. So whatever the rate that I specified under this rate schedule against this person, that will get picked up, and then it will calculate the cost accordingly. And for the period, whatever the date range you have mentioned here, from date and to date, right? So these dates are very important. And so this is about labor costing overrides. Nothing much here. Let's move to the manage organization costing rules. This is also a part of rate schedules, right? So till now, like if you scroll up a little bit, we have seen rate schedules, labor costing multipliers, labor costing rules, labor costing overrides, right? So all these three are exclusive for labor, right? But I have one more task called manage organization costing rules. This is a common task. This is not meant for only labor. This is for all kinds of schedules, right? But if you are handling labor cost, then and you are having some kind of overtime hours, so in that case we are going to pick this. If not, this is completely optional. Okay, and also if you don't have any override rates, if you don't want to override the rates, then this is also completely optional. This is not mandatory. This is optional, this is optional, but mandatory here. Manage rate schedules. If we are having labor, then manage labor costing rules. If you don't have labor, then even you can skip this directly. You can skip this and you can come directly to manage organization costing rules, right? So let's jump into this. So till now we have seen like creating rate schedules and maintaining rates, but how are we going to uh, put them under action? I think yesterday or maybe today, not today, maybe yesterday, someone asked me, how are we going to specify, or where are we going to specify the cost rate schedules, right? So this is the place where you are going to maintain your rate schedules for your costing purpose. Remember, that's why they mentioned clearly here, costing. What are the rate schedules you mentioned here? These are meant for calculating your cost, not bill amounts. Remember, for calculating the bill amount, like maybe revenue on invoice, we have a separate area, right guys? Is Abhilash there?
ఓకే అన్న.
Okay.
ఎస్ అన్న.
అభిలాష్ ఉన్నాడు ఇవాళ?
యా ఉన్నాడన్న. కొంచెం లేట్గా వచ్చింది.
Okay. Okay, right. So these are all meant for calculating or calculating the cost, whether it's a labor cost or non-labor cost, whatever it is, right? So let's see each and every column here. So we are going to specify the rate schedule with the combination of business unit and expenditure organization, or I can directly specify my rate schedule at the business unit level, right? So let me take out this. If you don't specify expenditure organization here, then whatever the organizations that comes under this business unit, right? So they're all, all those organizations are eligible to use this particular rate schedule. But if you specify any expenditure organization here, then this will applicable only to the cost that comes or that falls under this particular expenditure organization, right? So in this case, we are having three expenditure organizations. If I don't specify anything here, so whatever the transaction, right, from any one of these expenditure organizations, application is going to use this particular rate schedule to calculate the cost, right? So that is a difference between, I mean, uh, business unit and the expenditure organization combination. Okay, so if you don't specify anything, it will consider for all expenditure organizations. That means we are specifying my cost rates, cost rate schedule at the business unit level. Either I can mention at business unit level or at the expenditure organization level. This is also like an important interview question, right? At what level you can maintain your cost rate schedules, right, guys? So this is very important. Make a note on this. And coming to the schedule type. So whether you want to so for which kind of transactions you are going to have this particular rate schedule. So whether you want to like maintain for labor or non-labor, right? So if I select labor, then obviously I have to specify my labor costing rule. That is important. But if I pick non-labor here, see, then I cannot pick or I cannot select labor costing rule here. Labor costing rule is only meant for labor transactions or labor rate schedules, right? So if I select labor, then only I can able to pick labor costing rule, and then accordingly I can select my cost rate. These are all meant for, or these are all falls under person schedule type, right? Not only person, job as well, because person and job both will fall under uh, labor category only, right? And when it comes to the non-labor, then these are all the two rate schedules which are under non-labor category. And again, you can give the from date and to date, the date range that tells the effective or the active state of this particular record. Okay, so that is about manage organization costing rules, where you're going to specify your rate schedule at either business unit level or at the expenditure organization level. You cannot directly pick your expenditure organization because organizations will come under business units, right? So the parent is business unit and the child is here expenditure organization. So without selecting the parent, you cannot select the child value, right? Right, guys? Are you with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So are you clear
Yes.
with this? Manage organization costing rules. Guys,
Yeah, no, yeah. Yes, sir, no.
okay. And remember, this area is only for casting. We don't specify anything for billing purpose. Okay. Let's move to the another important one here is manage planning and billing resource breakdown structure, which is an RBS. So what is an RBS? Anyone? Anybody? Guys, what is RBS?
Resource breakdown structure.
Good. Resource breakdown structure, right? So anybody knows about the application of resource breakdown structure?
No, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay, no problem. So we'll go with the basics on the resource breakdown structure. So basically we can use this resource breakdown structure at project level. Okay, that means we are going to assign this at the project level, and then that means what are the resources that we specify under this resource breakdown structure, right? So the resource breakdown structure contains a list of resources that are going to be utilized in a particular project or in a project. Okay, so I'll mention all my resources under RBS, and I'm going to assign this RBS to the project. Or prior to that, you can also copy the same thing, or you can assign the same thing to the project template. You can assign RBS to the project template, and whatever the project that will get created using the project template, so the same RBS will get copied into the project as well, right? So once you assign the RBS to the project, then you are going to use those resources in your planning, or while planning you can able to use those resources either in budgets or at the project plan level. Did I show you the project structure? Not yet, right? Okay.
Yeah.
No
No, I
problem.
have that.
Okay. So while creating budgets, right? So you usually will specify the resources. On this resource, what is my planning amount? On this resource, what is my planning amount? So in order to get those resources, what is the source here? The source is the RBS that is attached to the project, right? And don't worry, we will see that clearly when we are defining the template and project, right? When we are creating the project, we can see that, and also we'll put some budgets as well. Then you can get a clear idea on it. So while creating the budget, if you want to access or use the resources in order to plan on those resources, then that particular resource should be available under your RBS, which is attached to the project. If the resource is not attached to the project, then you cannot plan on that particular resource while creating the budget. But of course, we have some new features which we'll cover maybe in future sessions. Like I don't have any resource in my RBS, or else not RBS. Like I don't have, I didn't plan on that particular resource, but still I captured cost on that resource. Now I want to make that uh, transaction or the cost as planned cost, because as I didn't plan on that particular resource, it will be like unplanned. So the application is going to make it planned cost automatically by adding that particular resource into the uh, your budgets automatically, which we'll see in future. But as of now, coming to the resource breakdown structure, which contains the list of resources that can be utilized while creating budgets. That is one of the application. Okay, and the other application is like
Anna?
yes.
No, RBS is nothing but as resource list. That resource list is assigned in project type or project template. In ABS, we
No.
assign in project.
But when it comes to the fusion, we are not doing anything in project types. You tell me, because we have already discussed about project type, right? So can we do that in fusion? I mean, did we see that? Not yet, right?
Not that.
Okay, no problem. So once you see that project type definition, then you will come to know. Okay. Until then, just keep that doubt with you. It will get clarified automatically.
Okay.
Okay. So that is about resource breakdown structure. Now let's jump into the definition and the structure of the resource breakdown structure. Just give me a second, guys. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, let's jump into the resource breakdown structure. I'm opening the existing one. So here we are just giving the name, description, and remember we are selecting the project unit as well, right? So the RBS is at project unit level. Okay, and again we have one more checkbox called allow resource changes at project level, right? So in this RBS, I'm going to specify all my existing resources. For example, I'm having 50 resources in my organization. So I just added all the resources into this RBS. But when I'm going to use this RBS to a particular project, right? So in the project, I want only 20 resources, not all the 50 resources, right? And so in that case, I can able to delete the existing resources, and also I can able to add any new resource to the RBS list, right? So When will it happen? If you enable allow resource changes at project level checkbox, when you enable this, then you can able to update or modify your RBS at your project level, so that you can able to suit that particular RBS as per your project requirement, right? And then again, as I said, one more new feature, which is automatically add resources on incurring actual amounts, which we will see in future, right? So if you have any cost on the project on a resource which is not planned, okay, so in that case, system is automatically make that unplanned cost as planned cost, and we'll see how it's going to happen. And then if you go to the next, select resource formats. So you have to remember these resource formats. These are very important for you, right? So what are the different resource formats available here? We are having expenditure types. That means even you can plan on your expenditure types. You can plan on your expenditure categories, expenditure types, inventory items, job, person, organization, non-labor resource, resource class, which is enabled by default. Again, you can plan on your suppliers, right? But basically in real time, like most of the times we'll go with either expenditure type, like 90%, and some cases we'll go with organizations, and in very rare cases we will also go with the persons, right? So here I have selected expenditure type as my resource format. That means I'm going to plan or I'm going to use expenditure types as my resources. So whatever the expenditure types are available, they're all gonna be act as my resources, right? So for example, I'm having two expenditure types. One is carpentry and the other one is plumbing, right? These are the two expenditure types. Now I want to set my budget on carpentry, like maybe $500, and on plumbing I want to put maybe $700 as my budget amounts, which is my cost budget. So I don't want to capture cost beyond these planned amounts, or maybe I just want to plan uh, with these amounts on those two resources, right? So in that case, if you enable expenditure type as your resource format, then you can able to plan on your expenditure types, because your expenditure type is a part of your transaction, right? So we can plan on expenditure types. Even you can also try with organization as well, right? So let's move to the next. Once you come here, what are the resource formats, Anam?
10:25 క్లోజ్ చేసావా మళ్ళీ 5 క్లాస్ ఉంది
Sure అన్న, అయిపోయిందిలేండి.
ఏమనుకో 10:25 షార్ప్. ఓకే
Sure అన్న, sure. Okay, so when you come to the next section, which is adding planning resources, so we have already selected expenditure type as my resource format. That means I have to specify what are all the resources that I'm going to add to this RBS. So what is my resource, what are my resources here? Expenditure types, because that is the resource format what I have selected here, right? So here I need to add all my, or what are the expenditure types you want to add. We need to add those expenditure types here, right? And coming to the resource class, you can select what is the appropriate resource class, right? Either that is a financial resource or that is a labor resource, right? Whether that is a mission or it's an inventory item, right? So basically for expenditure types, we'll go with the financial resources. And there could be some expenditure types that are meant to capture your labor cost, right? So for them, we will select the resource class as labor, right guys? And for the other, we will select usually the financial resources. And even if you want to plan on your inventory items, in that case, when you are like what are the expenditure types you have enabled as inventory, then you can select even material items as well, right? So it basically depending upon your requirement. And one more important thing here is spread curve, right? So we are having even backloaded bell shape daily spread basis. Guys, do you know about this spread curve?
No.
No, Anna.
No.
No, no.
Okay,
No, Anna.
no problem. We'll see while creating budgets, then I can easily explain you about the spread curve. There you can easily observe the application of this spread curve, like how you want to spread your planned amounts across the periods. For example, you are having a project that starts from January 1st 2021 and that ends at 31st December 2021. So in that case you are planning, you are having budget of $1 lakh, right? So how you want to distribute your $1 lakh across the across the project life cycle, starting from January to December. Whether you want to put like whether you want to consume more in the beginning or high in the beginning or middle in the beginning, whether you want to consume high in the beginning or high in the middle or high in at the end, right? Or maybe you want to spread it evenly to all the periods, right? So depending upon the requirement, we are going to select the appropriate spread curve. As per the selection, the application is going to spread that 1 lakh amount across the periods, right? So in order to spread that amount across the periods, the spread curve selection is very important, right? Even in interviews also, they may ask you, did you work on spread curves, right? So if you tell yes, then that will be an added advantage to you, right, guys? So
Uh,
once you are done, who is this?
Anna, in the middle of the project also we can change this spectrums or resource.
Your voice is breaking, I cannot hear you.
Anna, in the middle of the project also we can do that spread curve or resource classes change. We can change or not.
Yeah,
In the middle of
like try to do that. You can do that. You can create a new working version of budget and you can able to change the spread curve. That's why when we are defining budgets, then you will come to know more about that, okay? Because if I say theoretically now, you'll get confused.
okay.
Okay, and anyhow you got an access right to the Fusion environment, so you can work on that rigorously from now onwards. So guys,
Okay.
you cannot say that I don't have access to the application, I didn't work on it, I didn't see that, I didn't practice that. No, no, no. Now you got environment, right? Did you try to access those demo environments?
Yes,
Till
Anna.
now I have not seen, Anna.
Yeah.
Mhm.
From today onwards I will do.
Okay, fine. So I'm done. So once you are adding all the resources here, you have to click on update mapping. That is very important. Otherwise it won't get reflected. Even when you try to add any new expenditure types here, you have to click on the update mapping. That is very, very much important. Then you can click on save and close. Okay, guys. So that is about resource breakdown structure. Okay. And we'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. And quickly, who is going to give presentations tomorrow? Fast. Whoever didn't give presentations till now, you can come forward. Guys, can I pick? Srikala, do you want to give?
Yes, Anna.
Okay. On which topic?
As your wish, Anna. I'm ready to give on any topic.
Okay, you can talk about rate schedules. Okay.
Okay, Anna.
Okay. Anybody else? Abhilash,
Anna,
do you want to pick any topic?
as your wish, Anna.
You can talk about um, procurement project integration. Okay.
Okay, Anna.
Okay. Okay, guys. See you tomorrow.
Both
Bye then.
pay,
Uh, what, Abhilash?
both procurement means procurement integration with purchasing and payables. Both have.
Purchasing. Only purchasing. I don't want to see the payables.
Okay, Anna.
Okay. Even if you want to cover that, you can cover that also. Payables one.
Okay, Anna.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye, Anna.
Bye, sir.